This all needs to stop. The best should be fighting the best. We know that.
I mean, I think Chimaev's wrestling is good enough to go up to heavyweight if he wanted to.
The UFC middleweight scene just took a hit as Nassourdine Imavov backs out of a potential fight with Khamzat Chimaev, raising questions about what comes next for the division. Starting things off, Nassourdine Imavov made it clear he will not face Khamzat Chimaev, saying the decision may be hard for fans to understand but carries a deeper meaning back home. He explained that after speaking with his mother, he was told this is not a fight that should happen, and for Imavov, that message outweighed the pressure of a high-profile UFC matchup. Imavov said, "Here it's certainly hard to understand, but in the Caucasus Mountains, it's going to make some noise. I called my mother to ask her about the fight. She doesn't know anything about MMA. They said it's not a fight to be had. It shouldn't be between two brothers. That's why it's complicated for us." He added that there is still pressure around the matchup, pointing out that he and Khamzat know each other well and have mutual respect. Imavov also acknowledged Khamzat's help during the Allen fight and said the UFC has already shown interest in making the fight happen, possibly as soon as February. Fans, meanwhile, have been split on the situation, with reactions ranging from understanding to outright frustration. He continued, "But at the same time, we don't have a choice. We know each other well. Khamzat is a good guy. He helped me quite a bit in the fight against Allen. He's someone I appreciate. We know that next it's going to be me. I think I've done enough. We've talked to the UFC. The UFC told us they wanted to do the fight in February." Previously, Khamzat Chimaev also addressed the situation, explaining that while he and Imavov have trained together before, it was never full MMA, and there is mutual respect between them. He admitted he doesn't like the idea of the fight because of the outside noise and drama, but made it clear that if the UFC wants it, he will still take the fight.
We didn't train MMA, we just wrestled a little bit. My wrestling skills, but I don't know his striking skills. It wasn't MMA. I was there, I just tried to help him. He's a good guy, I know him, he knows me, we know each other. If you ask me, I don't want to fight this guy because he's we know each other, like a Muslim, and he's from Dagestan. You know how it's Dagestan, Chechen people, it will be a lot of drama on the internet or all these shit things, so I don't like about it. But if you see wants it, so I'm never gonna say no.
Moving on, Michael Bisping also weighed in on the situation, pushing back on the idea that shared religion should affect matchmaking. He argued that there are billions of Muslims in the world and that this logic can't be used to avoid fights, stressing that in the UFC, the best should always be fighting the best.
There's billions of Muslims on the planet. You can say that because you're both Muslim, you can't fight one another. Look, listen, this all needs to stop. The best should be fighting the best.
Meanwhile, former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis weighed in on a potential Imavov versus Khamzat Chimaev matchup, saying that if the fight does happen, Imavov getting the title shot makes the most sense. He added that while it would be an interesting fight, he believes Khamzat Chimaev would dominate and come out on top.
Imavov's getting the title shot. I think that's the only thing that really makes sense now is Imavov getting that shot at the belt. But I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think Khamzat wins that fight for sure.
Belal Muhammad also weighed in on the situation, reacting to Khamzat saying he doesn't want to fight Imavov and pointing to the history between them. He noted that Khamzat has been calling out Alex Pereira and said both matchups make sense. Belal then added that if Pereira moves up as expected, it could open the door for a Khamzat versus Jiri Prohaska fight, which he believes would also be a fun one for fans.
185-pound division, Khamzat saying he doesn't want to fight Imavov. He said one is Chechnya, Dagestan. Obviously, there's history behind that, and they don't want anything serious to happen with that. I know he's calling out Pereira. I'm excited for either one of those fights, whichever one that happens. What do I think will happen? If they make the Pereira fight, which I don't think Pereira would do that because he's already talking about going up to 205, but that will leave an opening. He's going up to heavyweight, so that would leave an opening at 205 where it could be Jiri against Chimaev, which I think would be a fun one for sure.
Belal added that he believes Khamzat's wrestling is strong enough to even carry up to heavyweight if he wanted, pointing to footage where Khamzat was seen lifting John Jones. He suggested that kind of strength and control opens up options far beyond just the middleweight division.
I think Chimaev's wrestling is good enough to go up to heavyweight if he wanted to. You've seen how he picked up John Jones recently in their video.
Moving on from the Khamzat situation, a different kind of storm is surrounding Ilia Topuria. In a sudden Instagram post, he announced a temporary pause from competition to sort out out family matters and protect his children, while firmly denying the allegations and calling the situation attempted extortion. The unexpected move has sparked mixed reactions among fans and raised questions about his immediate future in the UFC. Additionally, Ilia Topuria spoke about his situation, explaining that he's currently dealing with personal problems and doesn't have a clear timeline for his return. He said his priority right now is the welfare of his family and children, adding that once everything is resolved, he plans to return to the octagon as soon as possible and give fans the show they expect.
Finalmente, Ilia, porque el público lo que quiere saber, anunciabas no el primer trimestre, ellos pelean en enero. ¿Cuándo te gustaría a ti? ¿Cuándo sientas que es el momento para regresar?
Bueno, pues como he comunicado, estoy atravesando problemas personales. No tengo una fecha exacta de cuándo se va a solucionar todo. Espero que cuanto antes, en cuanto se solucione, yo estaré listo para volver en el octógono. Priorizo en este momento el bienestar de mi familia, de mis hijos, el mío propio. Así que en cuanto solucione todo, ya volveré al octógono y a darle todo el espectáculo que todo el mundo se merece.
Reacting to the post, Ariel Helwani said he knew Topuria was dealing with personal issues, but hadn't heard any of the rumors circulating online. He added that given everything going on, it's understandable why Topuria would step away from fighting, calling it a sad situation and expressing sympathy for his family and children.
Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those. I had not heard any of this. I had not heard any of these allegations or rumors, innuendo, any of that. And so you can understand even more so why he would want to step away and not focus on fighting or defending his title, because obviously there's a lot going on. It's extremely sad. It's, I feel for everyone involved. I feel for his family. I feel for his kids. It's an awful situation.
Moving on, Bryce Mitchell delivered one of the most heated reactions to the situation, launching into an emotional rant, criticizing the allegations and questioning Ilia Topuria's character as a father. He escalated it further by dragging Ilia's brother into the conversation, throwing direct insults, and even claiming he'd fight him. Mitchell framed his response around personal values and faith, making it clear he has zero tolerance for abuse claims, while still saying final judgment is beyond.
I got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman. You know, I grew up without a dad. You know, never seen my dad, never will see my dad. And you know what? I'd rather not see my dad than have my dad there beating on my mom. Let me tell you something, what that'll get you killed around these parts, son. That shit ain't no joke. There ain't nothing funny about it, and I just had to let you know you're a straight up bitch for that. And your brother's a bitch too. I'll fight him, I'll beat his ass. You got lucky I was sick, or I'd have beat your ass. Look, you don't deserve to get to see your kids, son, because you put your hands on their mother. You're a coward. That shit is sickening. But anyways, bro, who am I to judge? I fall short of the glory of God too. Ilia, you need to repent, return to Jesus Christ, and if you repent, you won't rot in hell, bro.
He added that Ilia should take responsibility in his personal life, using a championship belt analogy to criticize what he described as repeated relationships, continuing his blunt and confrontational tone.
One more thing for you, Ilia. Wives ain't like belts, okay? It ain't the more the merrier. You're supposed to have one man, one woman, two become one, okay? You're out running around working on your third wife now. Hell, you think they're championship belts and you're trying to get 3 or 4.
Offering his own take, MMA Guru said the situation doesn't look good for Ilia Topuria in the short term, warning that the coming months could be rough. He referenced the seriousness of the allegations and the family element involved, while noting Topuria's claim that he's being blackmailed and has evidence. MMA Guru added that, regardless, situations like this often take time to fully play out.
And it's not looking good for Ilia Topuria whatsoever. This is going to be a rough next couple of months, to say the least. I don't know how long this situation's going to go on for, but basically the gist of it is, before we read the entire thing, there's abuse allegations being made against Ilia Topuria. Of course, there's a child involved in the split between him and his partner, so that's going to come into play as well when it comes to custody and a custody battle going down. He says he's being blackmailed and it's all a lie, and he's got evidence and documents to support this that he's going to be submitting to the court. So if that's true, this should be over reasonably quickly, but we know how these things get dragged out. We We know how messy these situations can be.
He further said he hates seeing situations like this drag on without clarity. According to him, that's especially damaging for someone with Ilia Topuria's profile, and stressed that the truth needs to be made clear publicly, one way or the other. At the same time, Guru noted that evidence should be handled through the courts, not social media.
This is rank. I hope it all gets cleared up. And I hope this isn't something where this just goes away. This isn't something where this just fizzles out and becomes nothing. Like, I want this to be publicly announced. Was this bullshit or was this true? When it comes to someone in a spotlight like Ilia Topuria, and with his level of status and image that he has online, where a lot of people are to perceive him in a way or not, I think this needs to have a concrete answer. And then maybe based on what Ilya's saying when it comes to how much evidence he has, that sort of stuff needs to get released once all is said and done. But of course, he's not just going to start posting it all over social media. He's going to take this the court of law way first.
Adding to the backlash online, Andrew Tate posted a controversial tweet reacting to the situation, claiming women lie and labeling Ilia Topuria as innocent, a comment that quickly fueled even more debate and polarized reactions across social media. Andrew wrote a tweet, "I don't know Topurialia, but what I do know is that women lie. Innocent." Moving on, Josh Thompson made it clear he's standing with Ilia until proven guilty, stressing that this is not a situation for hot takes or rushed punishments. He emphasized due process, saying the courts, not public opinion, must decide the outcome, and flatly rejected any talk of stripping Ilia of his title, calling that move absolutely unjustified without clear, proven evidence.
I want to know where he's going to get the evidence to prove he didn't do it. That's the only thing. And look, and I'm on his side in this situation until otherwise proven that he's guilty. And I'm going to always go, and that's just kind of my letter of the law, is like, let's see how the court plays out. Let's see exactly what evidence comes to fruition. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, which I do all the time. But in this situation, this is very serious. This is, I know in talking about fights and joking about fights and other things, you can go ahead and slip up. But in this situation, I'm gonna let the courts decide on what actually is going to be done. But I'm more interested, like, what evidence can you prove? Can you show to prove that you didn't hit her, and then what evidence is she gonna show to prove that you did? And in terms of stripping him as a title, absolutely not.
Josh added that Ilia is a double champion and acknowledged that there are people who want to bring him down. However, he stated that he himself will not do the same. He won't criticize anyone without evidence, and added that he will wait for the courts to decide what is true and what is not.
Because it puts him, he's an MMA champion, and and he's exploded on the scene. He's a 2-division champion. There's, people want to tear him down. I'm not going to sit here and tear him down. I'm going to wait until, everything has been talked about in the courts. I'm going to wait till see what the settlements are. I'm going to wait to see if the divorce goes through. I'm going to wait for all of those things and see exactly what happens. So,
furthermore, Angelo Bodetti pushed back on the idea that the UFC was manipulating matchmaking to keep Ilia on ice for a White House card. He made it clear that this situation is far more serious than fight timing or promotional strategy. These are still just allegations, with no details publicly confirmed yet. Because of that, he argued the UFC's best move is to wait, let the facts emerge, and avoid rushing into decisions.
It just makes it all very, very messy. And it's an unfortunate wrinkle, because a lot of people's theories were the UFC was just trying to keep him on the side so that they can get him on the White House card and do him versus Patty on the White House card, something like that. Well, that's obviously very clearly not the case, right? There's far more serious things going on. This is beyond just, hey, I need a break, or nah, I can't fight in January, so put together this fake fight that not for a real belt, and then I don't know what the UFC is going to do here. In theory, they should probably wait and see what happens, right? Because these are allegations. We haven't even heard the allegations. We just heard him say there are allegations.
Whether it's Imavov remaining steadfast or Khamzat staying prepared for whoever the UFC matches him against, the division feels stalled, tense, and unresolved. Regarding Ilia, reactions are mixed. Some supporters back him, while critics voice their disapproval. In reality, no one knows the full story. Fans are excited to see what's coming next.